Hey there! For many years, the suburbs of California were like the ultimate American dream. They had it all: spacious streets, great schools, sunshine, safety, and lots of space away from the hustle and bustle of the cities. But guess what? By 2025, that dream is crumbling. From the cliffs of San Clemente to the wine country of Santa Rosa, some of California's cherished suburbs are in trouble. Home prices are dropping, insurance is skyrocketing, and the influx of people that once helped these areas grow has turned into an outflow. It's wild to see these communities, once symbols of success, now facing the front lines of California's housing issues. Now let's dive into the top 10 suburbs in California that are really struggling. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because even the wealthiest neighborhoods aren't in the clear. Starting off at number 10, we have Chula Vista, which used to be the pride of San Diego's South Bay. This place is really feeling the strain of its own boom. Once known for being one of the fastest growing cities in the state, Chula Vista was buzzing with positivity. During the pandemic, it became a hotspot for folks moving in from Los Angeles and Orange County, quickly transforming from a quiet family suburb into a competitive real estate market. From 2020 to 2022, home prices skyrocketed by an eye-popping 68% thanks to low interest rates, military stability, and remote workers looking for affordable options near the coast. But boy, how the tables have turned by 2025. The median home prices plummeted 14% in just 1 year, and the number of homes up for sale has skyrocketed. Builders who used to have long waiting lists are now throwing out all kinds of perks just to attract buyers. Think free solar panels, mortgage buyouts, and even prepaid HOA dues. With rising property taxes, escalating insurance costs, and HOA fees that can hit over $600 a month, the affordability that Chula Vista was once known for has vanished. Now, owning a home here can set you back around $4,200 a month, which is way out of reach for most local families. And it's not just about the numbers, it's the feeling in the air. The streets that once thrummed with construction activity are now thick with uncertainty. For sale signs linger in yards longer than ever before, and the buzz of optimism that once fueled Chula Vista has morphed into hesitation. The story of Chula Vista reflects the broader tale of California, a narrative of change and challenges. Let's talk about Burbank for a moment. This city, which once glimmered with the magic of Hollywood, home to Disney and Warner Brothers, has seen better days. It used to be a bustling place filled with creative folks, all thanks to the stability provided by studio salaries. Those tree-lined streets and mid-century homes were always a safe bet, especially when the rest of Los Angeles was a little unpredictable. But now, as we look ahead to 2025, things have taken a downturn. Home prices have dipped nearly 13%, and luxury homes in Burbank and Tuca Lake are just sitting there, pretty much untouched. It's not just about the numbers, though. You can feel the energy shifting. Open houses that used to be lively events with drinks and appetizers are now ghost towns, with price cuts happening week after week. The entertainment industry's shakeup has hit Burbank hard. With money tightening up at the studios, fewer jobs on site, and the rise of streaming and AI, many people who used to flock to the area are now leaving. On top of that, the cost of owning property is skyrocketing. Due to wildfire risks, insurance premiums have doubled, sometimes hitting over $10,000 a year. And let's not forget the rising property taxes and energy bills, making even the wealthy think twice about sticking around. Local businesses are feeling the pinch, too. Cafes and shops report fewer customers as homeowners cut back on spending. The tight-knit vibe that once defined Burbank now feels a bit muted, almost frozen in time. The studios might still shine, and the palm trees may sway, but the housing market feels eerily empty, like a fancy set waiting for an audience that might not come back. Burbank, the city that helped create dreams for many, is now struggling to keep hold of its own. Now, let's move on to Calabasas, rank number 8 on our list. This once glamorous celebrity haven, famous for luxury and elite living, is quietly disintegrating behind its high walls. For so long, Calabasas felt untouchable, a place where stars and executives could escape the chaos of LA. During the pandemic, its privacy became its biggest selling point. Not too long ago, Homes that used to be listed at $3 million were seeing bidding wars pushing their prices over $4 million. Fast forward to 2025, and now those same homes are sitting on the market for months, often selling for less than what it cost to build them. The statistics are pretty alarming. Home values have actually dropped by almost 18% from their peak. Luxury buyers have largely disappeared, opting for more tax-friendly states like Nevada and Texas. Cash purchases, which used to be the norm around here, have significantly slowed down, and lenders are getting stricter. Even with people who have plenty of money, owning a home here isn't cheap. You're looking at property taxes that regularly exceed $35,000 a year, and insurance for the hillside mansions has skyrocketed to between $15,000 and $25,000 due to wildfire risks. Toss in around $1,000 a month for HOA dues and the cost of private security, and even the millionaires are starting to wonder if all this is worth it. For many, the answer seems to be no. The once close-knit luxury community is starting to feel pretty empty. Local agents are saying that buyers are being super cautious, while sellers are getting desperate. Some celebrity homeowners have quietly cut prices just to get out from under the weight of it all. This isn't just a little correction, it feels like a cultural shift. Calabasas was all about that image of exclusivity and safety, but in 2025, what was once exclusive now feels pretty isolating. The quiet in those gated areas is almost overwhelming. Realtors are now referring to this as the Kardashian correction. A market that thrived on fame is now more about retreat. Now take Tustin, for example. It was once sold as the affordable alternative to Irvine, promising a nice balance amid skyrocketing Orange County housing costs with its mix of comfort, innovation, and suburban charm. But by 2025, that balance has totally crumbled. There were these big plans for development around Tustin Legacy in the district, with promises of smart homes and sustainable designs, plus gorgeous rooftop views and easy access to cafes and fitness studios. For a bit, everything seemed to work out. Young professionals flocked there, prices rose, and developers were scrambling to keep up. But then interest rates shot up and tech layoffs hit, and that momentum just disappeared almost overnight. Now, median prices are down 12% year over year. With HOA dues averaging around $500 a month and property taxes hitting more than $200, the idea of affordable luxury is turning out to be just a dream. Even mid-tier buyers, like engineers and nurses, are feeling the pinch. It's pretty tough out there for small business owners right now. A lot of them who bought their homes back in 2021 are seeing their equity just disappear. Many are even having to rent out their homes at a loss. Developers who once thought they'd have a steady stream of tech workers and buyers from out of state are left with blocks of empty buildings. Rows of the same-looking townhomes just sit there in silence, with their coming soon signs all faded from the California sun. And it's not just the homes, the mood has really shifted. Local agents are saying showings are super quiet, open houses feel deserted, and sellers are starting to panic. The rental market isn't looking too hot either. Those luxury units that used to rent for $4,000 a month now barely attract tenants at $3,200. Take Tustin, for example. Once known for its balance and comfort, it's become a warning sign for other suburbs. The city that aimed to attract future income is now struggling with today's challenges. Those sleek, modern buildings are hiding a tough reality. The future showed up too fast, and it's not bringing in the money anymore. And let's talk about San Clemente, a lovely spot on the coast of Orange County. Picturesque homes with red-tiled roofs next to that gorgeous turquoise water are seeing their housing market take a dive. This place was once the dream. Luxurious ocean view estates and Mediterranean-style villas, all promising peace and prestige. But by 2025, that dream has hit some bumps. Home prices that used to soar are now falling fast. Ocean view properties that once went for $2.5 million are now hanging around at $1.9 million or even less. The issue? It's not that people don't want to buy, it's about sustainability. Changes in flood zones, new coastal insurance rules, and rising maintenance costs are really hurting the market. Insurers are either backing out or asking for outrageous fees for basic coverage. Even folks who've lived here for years are starting to wonder if being by the sea is worth the hassle. Just look at the bills. Average power costs for big coastal homes are now over $1,000 a month, and strict landscaping rules are making upkeep even more expensive. Property taxes keep climbing too, and many retirees who were the backbone of San Clemente's growth are selling up and heading to states like Arizona or Idaho for a fresh start. The second home market, which was once a huge part of San Clemente's economy, is drying up. Remote workers who moved here for the good life are now finding it just too expensive to stick around. Plus, new regulations have hit short-term rentals hard, leaving investors scrambling to sell. Realtors are even calling it the coastal freeze. The sun is still shining, but the vibe has definitely changed. It's kind of wild how things have changed. Take San Clemente, for example. The waves are still crashing, but the phone's barely ringing. Sellers are slashing prices week after week, trying to attract buyers who just aren't biting. It really drives home a tough reality. Paradise comes with a hefty price tag, and right now it seems like that price is just too steep. The stunning California coast isn't losing its charm, it's losing its followers. Now let's talk about Santa Clarita, which I'm putting at number 5. This place was once the ultimate spot for families just north of LA, and it was shining brighter than anyone expected. For years, it was the epitome of middle-class success, boasting clean parks, top-notch schools, and brand new homes for folks looking for stability. During the pandemic, it was like an explosion of interest. Families fled the hectic life of LA and flocked to Santa Clarita's well-planned neighborhoods. Home prices shot up nearly 50% between 2020 and 2022, but what goes up must come down. By 2025, we're seeing median home prices drop 15% in just a year. In areas like Valencia and Stevenson Ranch, those for sale signs are practically the new decor on every suburban street. Builders are slashing prices left and right, but that's not enough to keep appraisals in check. Buyers who signed contracts when the market peaked are now opting out, unwilling to pay more for homes that are losing value. It's clear why. Insurance rates have soared over 60% due to expanded wildfire zones, property taxes are hitting new highs, and HOA fees can be as much as $400 a month. Talk about sticker shock. Overall, the total cost of owning a home has jumped nearly 40% since 2021, leaving many families at their breaking point. Even the local small businesses, like coffee shops, daycare centers, and auto repair shops, are feeling the hurt with fewer and fewer customers as residents tighten their belts. The once vibrant weekends at town center have turned pretty quiet. Maybe the hardest part to watch is the emotional toll. Families who thought they'd found their forever home back in 2021 are now struggling. Their savings have vanished, and their confidence has taken a hit. Santa Clarita was marketed as a safe haven, like a suburban fortress against the chaos outside. But by 2025, that fortress is starting to crumble. Behind those well-kept lawns and cozy cul-de-sacs, anxiety has replaced the peace, and the idea of stability feels more like a catchy slogan than a reality. Moving on to number 4, we've got Pleasanton. This place was known for its flawless image, showcasing East Bay wealth with wide streets, golf course views, and gated communities where success looked like driving a Tesla and affording hefty tuition bills. But in 2025, that polished image is losing its appeal. Home prices have taken a hit, dropping almost 16%, and the sales volume is showing similar struggles. It's interesting how Pleasanton, once a thriving area, is now really feeling the pinch. The tech layoffs that started in San Francisco have made their way over to Pleasanton, shaking up its once stable high-income situation. Many companies that used to be the backbone of the Tri-Valley corridor have slowed down hiring or even stopped altogether, and that's making even the wealthiest professionals a bit anxious. Take Ruby Hill and Vintage Hills, for example. Million-dollar homes that used to fly off the market are now sitting for months without even a nibble. Realtors are noticing that what used to be a quick sale after just one weekend of showings has turned into a waiting game that lasts season after season. There's been a drop in cash buyers, stricter lending practices, and skyrocketing mortgage rates that have really put the brakes on the top tier of the market. For those families still hanging on, pressures are building. Imagine paying $9,000 a month for a mortgage and dealing with $20,000 in property taxes. Yikes! And those once comfortable annual bonuses? They're getting smaller. Even private school tuition, something families counted on, has become a real concern. Some homeowners are quietly renting out parts of their houses just to keep up with rising costs. Local agents are talking about a different kind of fatigue now. It's not panic, it's more of a quiet acceptance. For sale signs are starting to look like trophies of a hopeful past that no one is interested in claiming anymore. Open houses that used to be filled with tech money and shiny cars are now just filled with whispers and hesitations. Pleasanton's situation isn't a complete failure, it's more about exhaustion. Even those with wealth have limits, and in 2025, this city, once seen as a model of success, is learning that there's a hefty price for perfection. Now let's talk about Irvine. This suburb, which was the gold standard in Southern California for what suburban living should be, is starting to unravel. It had everything: clean streets, great schools, and homes that seemed insulated from any market dips. But fast forward to 2025, and things have changed dramatically. Median home prices are down by 11%, and condo sales, they're way down by 40%. What's more, international buyers, who used to account for nearly 40% of all transactions in Irvine, have pretty much vanished. There are a lot of layers to this situation. The tech layoffs throughout Southern California have really hit the city's market hard, particularly affecting professional buyers. Plus, new regulations on international money transfers have made it tougher for foreign investors to dive into that luxury market. Developers are in a scramble now, offering all sorts of incentives like mortgage buydowns, Tesla credits, and coverage for closing costs just to get people to buy. Even with those offers, you can see entire blocks of new houses sitting half empty because buyers can't keep up with the costs. It's quite a shift from what we used to see in Irvine, and it really makes you think about how quickly things can change. Hey there. So let's chat about a couple of California suburbs that might be facing some pretty tough times ahead in 2025. First up, we have Irvine. It's been a dream spot for a lot of middle-class families, but with premiums rising 25% a year and mortgage rates hanging around 7%, owning a home there is feeling almost impossible for many. Because of this, people are heading to more affordable areas like Corona or Marietta in the Inland Empire. Irvine has always had those immaculate schools and beautifully landscaped neighborhoods, but underneath that perfect surface, things are getting stressful. Real estate agents are noticing a big change in mood, from pride to pressure. In neighborhoods like Turtle Rock and Woodbury, homes that used to create bidding wars are now getting lowball offers, if they get any offers at all. The rental market is feeling the pinch too, with luxury apartments having to cut prices to attract tenants who once would have been buyers. It's like the perfection that made Irvine so desirable has turned fragile. Now let's talk about San Ramon. This East Bay suburb, once a shining example of modern suburban living thanks to companies like Chevron and developments like Bishop Ranch, is starting to crack under the pressure of its own fame. Home prices have dropped 17% since their peak in 2022, and the number of homes for sale has doubled. Those fancy properties in Gale Ranch and Windermere that used to receive multiple offers are now sitting unsold for months, with prices slashed by $200,000 or even more. Even cash buyers are hitting the brakes. Corporate relocations are slowing down, tech job losses are shrinking the buyer pool, and that remote work boom that once filled up San Ramon's neighborhoods seems to be fizzling out. Families that went for $2 million mortgages back in 2021 are now feeling the squeeze with $9,500 monthly payments, not even counting taxes or HOA fees. People are starting to feel it, and local cafes that used to buzz with life are filled with nervous chatter instead. There's even talk of homeowners trying to sell quietly before prices drop even more. The connection to Silicon Valley, which used to be San Ramon's biggest asset, is now becoming a vulnerability. With bonuses disappearing and salaries tightening, even tech families are having to pull back. The beauty of San Ramon is still there, clean, green, and picturesque. But behind that, a significant reckoning is happening. What was once the suburban epitome of Silicon Valley's promise is now turning into a cautionary tale. It's pretty wild what's happening in California's suburbs right now. Let's talk about Santa Rosa, which is actually at the top of the list for a housing collapse in 2025. This city has been through so much, surviving one wildfire after another and rising from the ashes. It even became a symbol of hope as communities came together and rebuilt their neighborhoods. Home prices skyrocketed along with that hope. But now it looks like that hope is starting to dwindle. Home values have plummeted by nearly 19%, and insurance costs have skyrocketed. They've actually doubled. Can you believe that 1 in 5 homes in the area is now insured by the state's FAIR plan, which is basically a last resort option? What a mess. Newly rebuilt homes that were once the pride of the community are now sitting on the market for over 200 days without selling. Sellers are even slashing prices by hundreds of thousands, but buyers are hesitant, scared off by thoughts of another devastating fire season and all the regulations. You can just feel the emotional weight of it all. People are exhausted. One real estate agent mentioned that they've rebuilt homes twice, but the community just can't face doing it yet again. Insurance companies are pulling out of Sonoma County entirely, leaving homeowners with barely any coverage that now costs 3 times what it did just 3 years ago. Combine that with rising property taxes and utility rates, and even those with a decent income are starting to question whether they should stick around. Sure, the wine country still looks gorgeous with its rolling vineyards and charming cafes, but beneath that beauty, you can sense the exhaustion. Neighborhoods that once stood for recovery now feel stuck in this weird space between holding on to pride and facing reality. Santa Rosa's decline isn't just a financial thing, it's deeply emotional too. The community that has rebuilt itself repeatedly is realizing that not all storms are visible. Some wear you down slowly. It's like an endless battle for survival, and this time being resilient might not cut it. California's suburbs were once seen as a haven, a perfect reward for hard work, and a key part of the American dream. But in 2025, even the best neighborhoods are starting to take a hit. From San Ramon to Santa Clarita, and from Santa Rosa to San Clemente, the warning signs are everywhere. We're not just seeing a bubble burst in the cities. It's happening all over. So, if you want to stay informed about this housing collapse, hop on and subscribe because it's not just affecting the coast, it's creeping right into our neighborhoods.